Thank you for watching Quill Billy Garage. This is another episode on the series 1963 Studebaker Avanti versus Tree. If this is the first episode that you're watching in this series, I do recommend that you go back and watch the others for context. The task today is to straighten out the passenger side front suspension, at least straighten it out enough that we can get a wheel back on there that more or less tracks with the driver's side wheel, so that we can get this car unloaded from the trailer and have the ability to move it around. Now I'm ready to try to pull the suspension forward on the Avanti here. I've got this handy dandy, really cool aluminum come along that I just bought a couple weeks ago at a local garage sale. Got a block up there so I can double line pull it. Got an chain wrapped around the lower control arm. See if we can get this moved without injuring myself. Well, again, I'm not planning to fix this control arm. I'm just trying to get it so that I can put a wheel on it and move the car. Well, there's only one of me here, so I'm going to have to stop the camera and reset things. I got it pulled out quite a bit. Of course, when I released tension, it sprung back somewhat. So now I have relocated the chain to the broken off part of the lower control arm, and I'm going to pull on that. But as you can see, it's straighter than it was. I'm probably going to have to pull off this tie rod that's bent and straighten that one out. There it goes. Okay, once again, I'm going to have to stop the camera. There's only one of me. After some messing around and tweaking with this, I do believe that I've got the control arm pulled forward enough that I can fit a wheel on here without it rubbing the fender. My next task is to see if I can straighten out that tie rod enough that both front wheels are pointing about the same. I'm going to try and undo it here and hook a come along up to the end and pull against a block of wood and see if I can straighten it out while it's on the vehicle instead of taking off the other end. I wasn't able to straighten the tie rod while it was still attached to the car, so I went ahead and pulled it off. As you can see here, it's pretty bent. So I'm going to use my vise or my press and see if I can get it straightened out. And again, I'm not straightening it out for use on the road. I'm just trying to get it straightened out enough that I can have four wheels on this car and the wheels point the same direction, so it's easier to move it around. After a little quick work with the shop press, I got this tie rod straightened out enough to put back on the car and hopefully get both front tires aligned. All right, the tie rod is reinstalled. It's not perfect, but as you can see, it's a lot straighter than it was. The front two wheels are basically lined up straight. Next task is to see if I can get the tire to hold air that was on the car when it got in a wreck. It did a little damage to the rim, but hopefully I can get that sealed up enough to hold the car up off the ground. The rim that was on the car when it got in the wreck had damage on both sides. The bead here was bent in on the rear side and on the front side, so I took a ball peen hammer and bent it back out. Again, I don't intend this wheel to ever be for highway use. I just need to get it to seal up and hold the car up off the ground here. I also had another spot on the bead where it wasn't bent, but air was leaking out and the rim's a little rusty, so I'm going to put a little bit of this tire bead sealer on it. I've had good luck with that in the past when I've had a rusty bead. The passenger front wheel and tire is back on for the first time in over a year. It is basically aligned with the driver's tire, so it should unload off the trailer sort of easily. One problem is the torn up lower control arm. Even though I bent it forward so things line up a little better, as you can see, it's still touching the ground, touching the deck. So I put that thin piece of plywood under there, so hopefully when we roll it off the trailer, that plywood will move with it and we can get it unloaded. Maybe at a later date I'll torch that part of the control arm off, make it more easy to move around. The other thing that's not great for maneuvering it is as you can see here, the sway bar, which should be attached to the lower control arm, isn't, and so it is going to prevent a full turning left with the car. The back of the brakes is going to hit that. Oh well, better than it was. The gap between the body and the tire, it's a little close, but good enough that it won't rub. And that concludes this video. Hopefully my next video will be getting the engine pulled forward and hopefully start it up. Thank you again for watching my channel, Quillbilly Garage. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you tune in to future videos. Thank you.